When Colorado legalized marijuana for recreational use, they did one of the smartest things possible, especially when it comes to the state's infrastructure and education. In fact, I have statistics to prove it. So according to reports, Colorado actually collected a whopping $2.3 million in excise taxes on the sale of recreational marijuana during the first month of 2015. That's not the first year. First month of 2015. That's 10 times the tax revenue generated in January of last year. And remember, this is just the excise tax. It doesn't include licensing, which also costs money or brings in money for the state. Doesn't even include sales tax, which people have to pay for marijuana. So there's a bunch of money coming into the state, and they're like, wow, why didn't we do this sooner? So last year, during the first month of sales, the school fund totaled $195,318. So there's a huge disparity there. Like, why is it that this year in 1 month it was 2.3 million? Well, it turns out that there were only 40 legal marijuana dispensaries in January of 2013. By January of 2014, there were 300. So we're seeing dispensaries popping up all over the place, and then people are buying their recreational weed and they're enjoying it. So the state is bringing in quite a bit of money.
So I love that it's going towards public schools and construction fees. So, all the time they told us, oh my God, if you smoke pot, you'll never make it through school, it'll ruin your life, etc. It turns out pot's the thing that's saving schools. Yeah. And all across the country, what they're doing is they're cutting income taxes at the state level like they did in Kansas. It's destroying their economy, it's destroying their tax base, and then they're having to cut hundreds of millions of dollars from their education, as they did in New Jersey, Wisconsin, and Kansas. Turns out what you could do to save that educational system is legalize weed.
Yeah.
And if you did that and you put it back into schools, it's a win-win.
I hope that they keep spending that money on education. I'm just worried that somewhere down the line, they're going to use the money for something stupid. But for once, you're hearing about a state funneling money to public education, especially during a time when a lot of politicians are taking money out of public education, whether it's grade schools or even community colleges or state universities. So this is all really great news. I hope it continues going toward a good cause. Well,
you're onto something, Anna, because the part of the funds that don't go to schools go to things such as substance abuse programs. That's good. That's also great. Medical research and police training. Okay, now we're beginning to no, because remember, they're going to lose a lot of money. The cops are across Colorado because they don't get to seize the assets as much as they used to under the old laws, right? Yeah. So if you had a little bit of weed in your car, they get to take your car and then they sell it and they make a lot of money, right? So now they're giving some of that money back from the marijuana taxes to the cops to make up for it. Police training, right? So if that becomes a bigger and bigger part of the pie, and then we've got the problem that you're worried about. But for the moment being, nothing wrong with police training. Of course, that's a good thing. I wish they'd trained them a lot more and appropriately. And it seems to be going to largely good causes. Let's hope it stays that way.
So this is so they're raising money for schools through marijuana, which is like a twist on the old thing. And this is like a baked sale, which is a little different.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, speaking of they jumped from less than 200,000 to several million in 1 year. I mean, how many more jumps before they're no longer these little businesses that we need to defend, and they become the big businesses that make so much they can buy Republican politicians, and then they're like, well, we got to cut these taxes on these pot dealers. That can't be that far off, honestly.
But it's so funny that that's what's funding our education, right? We use lottery money to fund our education, so gambling and now marijuana.
Why not prostitution?
Why don't we, pretty soon you go, hey, how did you guys pay for your education? Oh, from a lot of huffing. A lot of people, we tax to huff paint, and now a lot of people are huffing, and we're really got a lot of great schools.
If people would just do a little bit more meth,
we
really could kick it up a notch. We get back some of the humanities programs in the high schools.
We're such pessimists. We can't just enjoy this great moment in American history. We have to think about what's going to happen or what's likely to happen in the future.